Booker T, born a slave, graduates from Hampton. Tuskegee, Alabama, calls Hampton and says, we need a black man to come to Alabama to teach us how to make a living. Booker T gets to Alabama. There's no school. He has to use an old church, an old barn, an old storefront. When the first class of students showed up in Tuskegee, Booker T. Washington made them pull up their sleeves. And the students of Tuskegee dug up the ground, made their own bricks, built their own buildings, made their own food, sewed their own clothes. They became so popular for making bricks that the white construction companies would come buy bricks from black students of Tuskegee instead of white construction companies. And then Booker T said, I need a science teacher. He heard of another black man, born a slave, by the name of Dr. George Washington Carver. At the time, Dr. Carver was considered the #1 scientist in America, not black, period. He said, George, I need you down here. At the time, George Washington Carver was being offered $1 million contracts to go work for the military, $1 million contracts go work for the pharmaceutical companies, $1 million contracts to go work for the engineering firms. He turned it down to come to Tuskegee. And when he showed up, one black man born a slave working with another black man born a slave, he said, Booker, where's my science lab? Where's my lecture hall? Where's my faculty apartment? And Booker T. Washington looked at Dr. George Washington Carver and said, George, all I have is what you see. Dr. George Washington Carver, a black man, castrated as a child. White people took off his reproductive organs because they was afraid he would have sex with their daughter and make a child. So George Washington Carver never had no children, and that's why his voice was so high-pitched. He went to the garbage of Tuskegee, and out of the garbage, Dr. George Washington Carver, the greatest scientist in American history, took out plastic, aluminum, wood, iron, tin from garbage. That black man gave you more than 300 products from the peanut. From garbage, gave you more than 500 products from the soybean. From garbage, gave you more than 200 products from the sweet potato. I ask you one question as I close. How is it we come from ancestors who had nothing and did everything? You got everything and ain't done nothing. Black power.